So here we go. Although I did not finish my breakfast, and I have to admit it sounds pretty late for a breakfast, but doesn't mean that I just got up. Coffee is not finished and I can still get on with it. And my iron, yesterday I drank one cola online, and I don't know what it's called in English. Schleichwerbung. What more do I have to set up here so we can get going? I mean, you know me. I'm not ready yet. Still, I wanted to go online. And also, as I noticed, 6 of you. Good morning in the morning. Yeah. If I do speak English, and yeah, it's always the same people listening and watching. It doesn't do so much. I'm still gonna try or keep that alive. And maybe there was Stony Q or something like that. George was around for quite a while. Yes, but you are doing that at night. Yellow from the egg? Yeah, that's right. And bad parents. Of course, everyone is doing that. Not knowing all those sayings, proverbs and sayings. I mean, my daughter had been, my younger daughter had been visiting England, and then she told me, aha, one wall free, aha, yeah, and I translate this. Okay, veggie Herbert, but veggie is already, I mean, vegetarians, veggie, it's suggesting already some English knowledge and understanding. My window. Hang on. And the helicopter is starting again. It seems to be moving all day, really. Not the nighttime though. What are we going to do? Please, you tell me. No, she was there in England, and then she told me that she, with the father from the guy she visited, they were telling each other, aha, on the agenda, yeah, big in Japan. You want me to hear that singing? Couldn't do that. Yeah, Japan are on the agenda, right? And I've went a different way this time, because now I know what I wanted to do. First things first. That's what you say in English. First things first. Yes, yeah, but I can't sing that. You need to. Hey, hi, hello, Christian. First things first. Yes, what did we do yesterday with the with these two bets? And especially, I mean, I have to say once again, it's somewhat curious. It really is a bit curious. I mean, I turned on the colors again. Maybe I still don't know where to split the screen here, where to best split it. But these two games had been played, and we did have two bets on them. Well, the surprise is not we win one, we lose one half. But what surprises me is that once again we have good bets, but not just good ones. Patrick, hi. Not just good ones, but I mean this. Whenever we get a plus here, which is fine. I mean this is perfect. Of course, we would like to see that, but it means we were even better than market, which is actually, well, it's not possible, so to say. I mean, I'm expecting on average to be slightly negative here. And if this is a red 0 here, maybe it still says we are behind. But this mean value here, well, it should be at least minus 0.05 or 0. Even I would accept actually 0.1, maybe minus 0.1. Why do we always get the good side? I mean, this is we can't keep that on this standard, and this is a problem because we have two more good bets and just half a unit or not even 0.34 units won, which is of course very good if you do so. But how would we? Well, what happens if we get those red ones? We ought to expect at some point, because we can't keep that standard. We can't keep it. I mean, I'm gonna explain that once again. Maybe how can I do that? Just with my fingers, or what can I do? I mean, or open a new file here. Okay. I mean, I have been trying to explain that quite often already. Phone is ringing. I can't speak. My daughter is calling. So, Julia, du bist live und online. Also, sag denn.
Ich wollte nur fragen wegen dem Kaufmann.
Ja, 300.
Aber glaubst du nur bei dem oder glaubst du irgendwo kriegen wir es auch günstiger?
Vielleicht günstiger, bestimmt günstiger. Auch bei ihm günstiger.
Hat er das auch gesagt?
Tschüss, Julia. Ich
Hat
bin im
das auch
Livestream.
Kaufmann gesagt?
Nein, das hat er natürlich nicht gesagt. Warum sollte er das sagen?
Na, weil er nett
Ja, okay. Okay, erzähl die ganze Geschichte. Die Leute wollen es hören.
Nee, tschüss.
Tschüss. She instantly had a very call it an accident with her car, and it's just a minor Blechschaden. What do you say? Minor damage, and so 300 euro they said, but somewhere else we could get it cheaper, I guess, which you all would not wish to know by any means. I was going to show you maybe how do I call that problem. No, it's not actually, it's just what comes to my mind right now. Okay, and here, yeah, this doesn't tell you anything at all, and you hadn't even asked for it to get that explained. But I can go really big here. But if we have a probability, let's say, well, it could be any probability, right? And so this is a probability. Well, I don't even know yet how to show it, but I try my best. Somehow work it out. We got a probability. This is a true price, so to say, and this is the reciprocal from that. And okay, well, this is really annoying here. And let's say we have a okay. Well, how am I gonna show it? Can you help me? If this were the probability, okay. Now, I mean, what is? I mean, we don't know this probability, right? We do not know it. My probability, my best guess, or something like that. Well, I really don't know what to do now to show that. If I say it's my true price would be reciprocal from that. Okay, now I get a market price. It's a lot faster to retype that, especially if these silly things happen. I didn't want to change the rise. Okay, very good, market rise. This would be, what do we get now? We get 265 or something like that. Then we got a break-even point. This is our break-even. So, do you have any idea what I'm talking about? I don't know. This is so annoying here, really. Why is this format? Okay, so this is our break-even point. And now the market assumption. I know this is not the way assumption is been spelled. Market assumption would be, let's say 35%. Right? Because well, it doesn't show anything, right? Does it? Market assumption. So now we got actually which is a true price from this. Let's. I mean, if anyone supposes or assumes that there is a probability of 35%, which is a true price of 2.86, then you would pay 265 because he wants to have a bargain and still wants to have an attractive price to be paid, which is very well understandable. If he's guessing this wrong, and I assume it's 41%, because I've got a different way of calculating it, I come to a different result, which it's up to everyone else to calculate his own prices, whatever that would be. And now, those 41%, they have to be exaggerated because the break-even is 37. It should be somewhere between these two, or between these three. I mean, why? Those are the extremes. Either he is on 35%, this is right, or 31%. This is the maximum possible, so to say, if we are not just two drunken idiots. I mean, So it's 35, something between there. So it should be actually, because no one would pay a price of 265 if he knew the probability would be 37.74% or more. Well, all I'm trying to say is the probability which I started with has to be somewhere between these two values, which is the best I can ever get, or we can get. Somewhere between here. If it is somewhere between here, then it would still leave the possibility that we are on the wrong side. Because it could be 36%, and when we always try to beat that, and we can't. I mean, it's very unlikely that it's below 35, and it's very unlikely that it's more than 41%. And on average, it's never gonna be. I mean, for a single game, anything can be wrong. You're just guessing wrong. But for the majority, for all the games together, we could not be. I mean, our dream is to get into this range between. So this is the dream, and the closer we come to 41%, the better winning margin more or less we have, right? 38% would be enough. I mean, this is just one example. We could list 1,000 games here. It could be 80% and so on. But we could never expect it to be here or even above. But what our results tell us at the moment, are you listening actually? Anyone listening? Okay, you can't even see me, which is fine. But, okay, yeah, Julia. Okay, well, so, and we have to understand this principle here, so to say, and what is happening right now is more or less, we are, by the stats of the games, we are proven right with our assumption, which is simply, it's not possible. It's not possible. I mean, this would be our absolute finest dream, to be this close to reality, right? I mean, 41% are for sure exaggerated. 40%, that would be a dream, so to say. I mean, here I had been assuming a probability that we never know of, right? That would be, so to say, the dream. The reality could be, in the end, we are 39 and a half, something like that. Okay, now I'm gonna stop that and remove this one. And no one had been listening once again. Or what would you say? And now we are coming back to this problem we just solved, so to say. I mean, I consider this a serious problem because we can never keep that value alive. We can't. It's impossible. I'm gonna predict that. And as soon as it's going down, it means we will have some more bad bets. And as soon as we do have more bad bets, we are likely to lose. And this means we actually should stop now. I mean, what we more or less could hope for, and what is so to say somehow what statisticians would claim, would maintain, would say, would tell us, make us believe, is that there is this where it's striving for equilibrium. It's gonna be balanced out at some point, right? So what could happen is we are gonna go minus here with many of those games. It was, I don't think so. Could be random for sure. An outlier. What is outlier? it did not happen. It not have happened. It hasn't happened. It didn't happen before, I would say. We didn't take down those values. I suggested it. We've done that. What we otherwise would see without this would just be we would have a very good quality, which is shown here. I'm not sure if this is still the. Yeah. Okay. I could. It makes no difference, right? So this is we would still see that very good quality, which is not 7046, it's 11654, of which we won the majority of the good ones, or the majority, yeah, and we lost the majority of the bad ones, which is fine. It could be a different distribution, but it should always be a small overhead to the good ones. So I would be happy if this would be 7055, and that would be 22, 32, or 25, 29 would be fine as well. But that would be a different distribution and not change our result. So what we otherwise would see without those figures, confirming, so to say, my suspicion, which is not needed actually. It just confirms it. What would happen if we wouldn't see those values would be very simple. We would say we had excellent bets and we didn't turn them into proper results, which is the same thing I'm saying right now. We didn't turn that into proper results because this is a sad result for such excellent quality. This is very simple as that. So it's the same conclusion. What this confirms here is we are, so to say, always right, or on average. I mean, we could sometimes be too right and sometimes a bit below, but more or less this is what we were hoping for, kind of the average probability we needed, and we did get it. More or less, this is, we could do that same thing that I've done in Germany, in the Bundesliga as well, or we've done that actually, which is these values here. But maybe there's a mistake somewhere. Average, no. Well, we are not beating it by this much. This is, I don't know who removed these values here, because this is just average probability is silly. This is the average. This is what we got. This is the break even. And this is what we were hoping for. So we are just too low with this, which is, of course, well, we could be happy because we say, well, we are well above, I mean, 0.7% is not a lot, but it's quite some bets already. But this is not a lot, but we have to beat this. We did beat it. Okay, fine. We were hoping for more. As I said, I would dream of being in the middle, which is not fulfilled here. Do you see that, what I'm doing? Yeah, you do. Okay, sometimes I'm a bit confused what I just show here, which, yeah, here I can see that actually. So we would hope to be in the middle here, but that should be the case. So there's a 5% difference, which is quite a lot, but this means we are even more likely to exaggerate our chances, because, I mean, we are doing new leagues, more or less. And then sometimes we have true prices of 154 when market is 182 or something like that. This raises this figure. I mean, we would, of course, be happy to be right in the middle, but making this one higher, making this one grow means we do not know so well, actually, right? We are guessing it up here. Market says maximum here. Actually, we believe it's a bit below. So if we could get then into the middle, that would be excellent, because we are setting a higher level of expectations or expectancies, in that sense that we have a somewhat too low true price, or we exaggerate the probability, right? This is, I mean, we can look at these columns here, this is pretty regular. This is very low advantages. We didn't want, but here we got one example, 191, 147, which is just simply, I mean, then we hope for, we dream of very huge advantage. In old and new, we lost it, by the way, but did we have a good one? We can check that. Yes, we did. So this is, but we have some huge margins somewhere here as well. When we talk about Brandbergen, once again, we had them already, we take them again, but we are dreaming of a huge margin, which actually is not there. Here in the under, it's the same thing. But so far we were proven right in this guessing. I mean, which is shown in this mean value here. But if we do not turn this into results, into good results, we can expect this to go minus here at some point. It can be in the next 200 or something like that. But we should expect then to go worse with the quality. And of course, what should be accompanying would be bad results. No other thing we could hope for. And this is the point that I left here, the thread, that any statistician would somehow promise us, well, you may have not turned your very excellent predictions into good results, but what can happen in turn is that you get worse quality, but then you get the good results, so to say, which is nothing we can hope for. We can hope for anything we want to. We wish for everything to go well, but it's actually not. Yeah, and this is once again the thing. When I saw that yesterday, right, I was really shocked a bit. I mean, I saw the two results first of all, and then I think, okay, that's very regular. I'm happy, so to say, because well, we lose one half. And we win the other one easily, so to say, 3-2. It was actually even the Ålesund that I was arguing for. They had a bad game in Ott with a 10-man, which doesn't count so much. But I was saying they are a very regular part of the. Well, we can see all these things, right? So I'm also in that sense, I'm just happy with it. If we look at this, right? Well, we can't see too much. But I can easily do that. But now, how far did we get with anything? Nowhere we did get. Ålesund, they did have just this meager 3 points, and they have the worst stats, so to say. They should have 11 points, which would be up here. But of course, the others could be a bit higher. The table, if they would all get what they deserved, would just be pushed together, so to say, right? Squeezed together or something like that. But they were still the worst, but not even far behind Starbeck, for example. But they are better than 3 points. Okay. Anyway. And especially, I do not like to see tables after a while when you have certain teams that are just hopeless, right? It's always a bad sign. It's bad for the league, bad for the betting as well, because no one, well, if they don't have a chance, it's the earlier it happens, the less good it is for us. Yeah, we wait for more results to come. What more can we do, right? It just, I mean, in the end, somewhere we will get what we deserve somehow, and we just have to keep going. What else can we do? I mean, stop now because we can foresee this trend. All that happened yesterday, as I was trying to point out, was we won the one easily, so to say, 5 goals on an over. What was the over line? I can't even remember. Oh, that was the day before, 2.5. So we had 2.5 goals, or two goals too many. And then I see the stats were very good. So it was just a good one. I mean, did I show that or I may not have shown it. And how far did we get with this? But we don't need this so much. Alesund, how good it was. But I showed that already, but that was just excellent. I mean, we see that in the black color here anyway. But it was just an excellent over, which just happens. I mean, it's just, if it's, 3.65, it's more than I expected. That's all I'm saying. And market with the 2.5 line was simply wrong, which always happens, these things. But in the other one, so when I see the result, I don't know anything about it. Then I enter the stats, then I see, okay, it obviously had been a good one. But when I see these stats, I mean, they come, when I saw my own figures of 1.56, 0.93, I thought already, well, that sounds a bit exaggerated on the home win, the chances. But then when I see the new system coming up with 1.85, 1.07, I think, well, it just doesn't sound so good, because we are really like this against market, right? We are attacking market like that. We say we know this league, we know that they are clear favorites, and which is maybe not the case. But when they play even better than this, it would tell us, as I'm saying, you even didn't expect them to be as much better as they really were. If it's just in a single game, it doesn't say anything. Now, of course, in the end, I can ask this question: why couldn't they turn this into a win? Because if you look at the stats, I mean, this is almost 1 goal better. So this is all. Sometimes when you see a 4-0, it doesn't have these stats, right? Now we see a 0-0. So I wonder, why can't they turn this into a result? Which is the same question that I asked before. We had too many such good bets that we just simply couldn't win, which may backfire at some point. So anyway, now we are through with this discussion. We still have those 2.39 units plus 1.18%, which is not a lot, but I was trying to explain plenty of things. Now we got Japan. I can toggle these, this is no problem. They are a bit small, but actually I've written down the bets already. And there's not a lot, but what I found is we did have Sagan Tosu already. So this is one of the bets, and actually it's almost the only one. I mean, Nagoya do not seem to play once again. What else did I want to show you? Actually, what I've done as an extra service, so to say, write down all the bets here. Oh, did I? Oh, that's what I actually meant to do, but I haven't done it because Sweden is missing. Is it actually Brandbergen, Vålerenga? Oh, you have the home side? Yeah. So these are right. But I could easily and quickly enter that. But actually, for the new ones, are there any new ones? Then I could quickly enter it, more or less. Yeah, we have Sagan Tosu, right? Hang on a second. It's not so much work here. Okay, this is Norway, maybe and here we got Sweden, and now you should be able to see that already. So we did have, so anyone who's new maybe today and was missing yesterday's stream and doesn't look at the last video, he can check here, right? Those are the bets. Although once again, I don't know why it's doing this to me to change the font, but it doesn't make this much of a difference. Well, here you can see them all at one glance. Can you see them? No, you can't. Well. I know why. Because this one is outside the... Okay, now here you can see them all at once. Kawasaki. Yeah, we have, but Veggie Herbert, could you please get used to... I mean, they are playing midweek a weekend, we don't know. And if we got Sagan Tosu plus 0.75, I had no idea where to look, right? It's Sagan Tosu playing in Tokyo or against FC Tokyo. And the line is plus 0.75, which is right, but the price had been 2.01. This all belongs there because it doesn't say anything. And this is, in fact, it is not even helpful, it is harmful. You understand why, right? Because some people might watch later or just scroll through the chat and they think, what, Sagan Tosu, oh, there was an old one and a new one, who are they playing? So they have no idea, right? We need it with the price and with the opponent in Tokyo. Right, but Tokyo have just one team up there, right? Well, if it were Yokohama, in Yokohama, for example, you would say, which Yokohama are they playing? Maybe they play Wednesday against FC and Sunday against FM, Flying Marinos. Anyway, of course, I could enter this one here, which I haven't done yet. Now we got the pairing. Tokyo against Sagan Tosu. And now it's offering me toast. Away side plus 0.75 at 2.01 we did get then. I've written that down, I think. It's 1.76. You may have been below. I'm not sure. I leave this. Okay, so this is the next one for tomorrow. Thanks, that's the best overview compared with the true price. It helps me for my staking level. Very good. Well, it's the way I'm writing them down right now because I think it's most reliable. I still do some mistake here or there. Because last week, for example, there was an old pairing somewhere in between here from Vissel Kobe against a team they didn't play against. But if this is okay, if this is still in there, then you can still check. Well, how can I bet Vissel Kobe against this side? They are not even playing. So then you have an extra bet in here, and the harm is low, harm done by that. Because you can't make a bet of that. Anyway, I would like to avoid those errors. But thank you if you like it, the way it is. We did have Sagan Tosu, and I only got one more on the sides. I mean, there's actually no real discussion possible. I mean, Sendai against Yokohama Flying Marinos, forget it. It's no indication. Yokohama, we agree with market, which we are very happy with. Also very happy. I mean, if we have 1 week, we wouldn't find a single bet because we always agree with market. Then we can say, well, what do we are very happy with our figures and everything. But what do we eat tomorrow, right? We've got nothing to eat. So we need some bets here or there. But next week, the bets are going to come. And then you would say, okay, very good. Last week we didn't have an indication. It means our evaluation should have been okay. They were good. And if we then have an indication, then we can even more say, Well, now it's even better. I mean, it's got to be right then. Okay. Do you understand my... Not from... I don't know how to say that. But it's different to... well, usually what other people say about these things. Or think about it. Okay. Urawa, no indication at all. We're happy. Tokyo against Sagan Tosu, price was today 2.0. So does it confirm? No, it doesn't. It's just a minor move, but at least it's not going up, which makes us happy. Then we got Shonan against Cerezo. Cerezo, I'm trying to say like cerveza in Spanish for beer. Una cerveza, por favor. Although it's very helpful, I'm taking it away. What we wanted to check is the game. I mean, I know the indication already, and I can try to prove this one, because we got an indication on we got an indication on Shonan Bellmare, actually a team we don't want to have, against Cerezo Osaka. Why is it that we don't want Shonan? Well, we do not mind so much. We had been right about them. 7.25, expected 7.25. Can even argue a bit about the goals. They scored a bit too many, but in turn they got one too many. That's why there are maybe 3 points missing, which can be a goal, the odd goal here or there. But it's just fine. The evaluation is fine, but they are bad. Okay. But now we look at Cerezo Osaka, and we always keep that in mind, right? They got 8-5 goals. They actually should have 8.6, okay? Could have scored one more even, but it's less than expected. But they should have conceded 10. So they only deserved 8.65 instead of 14 points. So this is why we do not go on Shonan Bellmare. Instead, we go against Cerezo Osaka. You always have to make that difference. I mean, it doesn't mean a lot to whether or not if you have an indication, you just have it. But we don't want Shonan so much because they are no real good. I mean, but if it's indicated, we don't mind. And there's nothing wrong with them. But there are other indications which are, they could be both-sided, justified by both sides, or just by one side or the other side. I mean, that could be justified by Shonan because they are our team. This is not the case here. They are not our team. Cerezo are our anti-team. Anti. This is indicated. We have that easily confirmed. Old and new agree. So this is our next bet. If you like it the way I do it, I'm gonna do it again. Shonan. Why is it telling me what I want to write? Especially if it's names. But how am I gonna tell him it's going to come a name? Cerezo Osaka. Home side. Plus, we got huge plus of half a goal. And we got a price this morning of 1.87, right? It's only 1.80, which is also fine. This is surely gonna be below. I mean, in Tokyo against Sagan, if you want to do this work, we can check that right here. But you can't see that so well. Until I make that bigger. And then we can compare here Shonan. Can you see that what I'm doing? Okay. no, Shonan was it the one we were going to check? No, it was Sagan. Here we see that the new system even likes it a bit better. I mean, we didn't check this one, or we did it on Sunday maybe after the matches had been played. Whether or not we like them. Which was the one? But I think we did that. Sagan Tosu, they are okay, and FC Tokyo, I think we've done that for sure, right? They are like Cerezo. This time we got a two-way bet, right? So this one is, that's why I instantly said on Sunday, let's take that one down. We might check the others, but this one is a bet for sure, because we got a two-way indication, right? Sagan Tosu, it's not that they are excellent, but they are even better than expected, which is not the case with Shonan, whereby we are happy with Shonan, but we wouldn't, well, not much more of a reason to go with them. But here we got one more reason, and in fact, if you see that, we even have, so to say, the better side, which is, of course, a very rough guess or a very ambitious claim we make. Okay. What was it that I just had been showing? I mean, once again, I was trying to avoid that, to have very lengthy discussion on that. But whenever we come by that, then I think, well, there's all reason to argue about that. Of course, if we were doing 7 leagues one weekend, maybe we should somehow shorten it. But and we all understand by then the way I'm working, and things are working, and we see here we see a movement. Well, it's somehow going up and down, and we had been down after 120 bets. If you look at the graph here in the stream start after 24th of June. And then we went up, and now it's going up and down, and then of course we're gonna be miles down here, and I'm doing this all by myself here. We are missing Ronaldinho. No, if this were the case, what was I going to say? I don't really remember right now. After weeks, can you help me? I mean, talking about this league, computer wants under. Okay, how can we justify that? I mean, we don't have to. I mean, it's not yet our league, but you can see these two figures here. That's 2.58, 2.59. This is well, it's not quite fine. Why does it say so? Why does my computer, my silly computer, say so? I mean, it's having these three values here, and then we could get into some serious doubt. Why is the old system, well, they agree on 2.59 goals as an average. I mean, it can be that we got special pairings that simply, well, stand a bit against goals, right? It can be home away in some sense, and it can also be if they are closer together, right? We have, where do we see if we have some huge favorites? Where do you see that here? There's FC Tokyo almost, or Hiroshima, the biggest favorites. Where are Kawasaki playing? We don't want them, 2.06. So we actually, well, we got 3 favorites. Well, this is even below 50% Kawasaki. But it can be like this, that you don't have pairings which favor the many goals, right? So this can happen. It can be, what did we have last season? 2.6? I had been checking that, or was it even 2.68? But here these figures would tell us a bit more in which sense we may have been wrong, because if I expect 2.65 and there should have been 2.73, which is not referring to this match day, so to say, right? Because this is, it could be a bit special, but 2.58, 2.59 is not miles apart from 2.65, so it's just a match day with a slightly less, lower expectancy. It can be sometimes also if the last match day were lower, or the last two, or something like that. Can you remember that? Well, I could check that, but it takes a minute, so I wouldn't do that. Right, that we have a development. I mean, they start with many goals, and then it goes down, and that's why now our expectancies go down. Can you actually see both of them, those figures? No, you can't. But if these two you can see, 2.65, 2.73, for the match day we got 2.58 or 2.59, old and new. So they agree it's a less goal-prone match day. But still we could say it is a bit wrong, because 2.59 now is below 2.65, which I expect, so to say, in general, but it's lower than 2.73, so there had been somewhat bigger potential, and 0.1 or 0.15 goals could already make the difference, that you have under or over bets, right? So it's not a massive difference, but it's enough to make us think we got a good under, or well, to make the computer maintain. But we got even more the reality, which is 2.85, and of course we have to say market is relying more or less on those 2.85, because there's no other comparison. Last season, okay, but then they would more or less, after 7 match days, you would say, okay, this is our average, 2.85, and not from last year or so. The market is not that sensitive for these smaller deviations or developments or things like that. On the goals, not on the sides. But what is obvious is that either we got under or we got nothing. And we had that before in this league, and we had the opposite in Sweden and in Norway. Either there's an over or there's nothing. So it's the difference, right? It's not it's the difference between Norway and let's look at these figures once again from Norway, and there we see the different different characteristic, the different character. My computer says there are 3.2 that it expects. Can be a matter of development, can be, well, it's not a lot between expected and should, but if expected are even bigger than should, then, well, this is what refers to the ones that it expects. They are even bigger than the ones should, so it's gonna be over, right? And the real average is 2.93. So what the computer says here is there should have been more goals, and I even expect a bit more than that. So to say, it's a matter of development. Sometimes it's a bit special, but it's a bit too detailed maybe to even think about these differences. Sometimes it does help you, but now I would say it becomes obvious that here we are talking about a quarter of a goal already, right? This is a quarter of a goal, 0.27. So this makes us either we got over or we got nothing. And this is what happened. We have Sarpsborg over and Stabæk over. Haugesund Stabæk. Okay. Anyway, just to explain that, we could do the same thing in Sweden, just to quickly check that maybe. But we have a similar thing here, I'm sure, right? 2.64, 2.89, 2.84 without discussing that any further. So So in Sweden, computer would say over or nothing. In Norway, it would say over or nothing. In Japan, it would say under or nothing. And that's all. And now you can say, well, how trustful are those figures? We don't know. And we are trying to prove that every day, as I said. And now we come to the unders. We have a very, very clear under indication in the Sendai against, which I hope no one is going to type in right now as a bet. In the Sendai against Yokohama FM. We may have discussed this already, I'm not sure. Sendai against, well, we'd rather look at these, right? Yokohama FM. And those figures would, well, they would not actually really confirm, but they would not fully contradict, right? We have 0.7 goals here. That should have been more, that I was wrong with my expectancies. Here we get another 0.25, which is about 1 goal. And in the Sendai, we had 2.2 goals, so this is already 3.2, and here another 0.4, so we got 2.2, 3.2, 3.6 goals in 14 games. This is like 0.3 goals maybe. It may still be an indication then with the 0.3 extra goals, right? But with all those goals coming and with a clearly positive, of course, hugely, well, positive goal performance of plus 11.87 goals, which is obviously in the ones that had been coming, which could also tell us a story, right? They don't care for defensive, so what you are counting the chances, and they are just bigger in size, which will, of course, if this persists, then the figures will adjust one day, but it doesn't do that quickly. But there's no reason to go for this under, no reason at all. I mean, we have an indication, we can still have a look at it, but rather in this case we should wait for things to happen, take them down. Anton S., are you new to this? I mean, I'm very happy if you... Why? You don't understand a word? Because the words are in English. I mean... I wouldn't know what to say now. First of all, we have an English stream, even though I can understand. Well, we are looking for over-under goal line bets. You've never done that? We did see too many goals in those games. These goals that had been coming, plus EV, what is it? EV? What is plus EV? To bet on goals. Of course, this is standard. Yeah, okay, but I'm not making any abbreviations. I'm not using them, and I don't want them. I don't want them. We did see too many goals. Those goals that had been coming, take your pocket calculator, 26, 40, 49 divided by 14, that's 3.5 goals exactly. And this justifies the line of 3.25. The computer would say there are clearly less goals, but always hopefully. No idea. Trying to read that properly. We don't have any reason to bet the under here. We have an indication But this indication has two at least flaws. I don't know what the proper word is, but two drawbacks at least. There was a bigger potential than I expected in the games of 3.6 goals. If we do an adjustment of these 3.6 goals, we may still have an under. I could calculate that because, but we don't need to. We just simply forget about this under. We have an indication, but we don't bet it. It's the same thing in Urawa against Shimizu, where actually we may have clearly better reasons to go for the under. Urawa against Shimizu, and what time do we have? 11 o'clock. What did I say? I mean, because China is funny, because there are a total of 2 indications, so we don't even need to bother, and we don't know China really. In Urawa against Shimizu, here you see that I was wrong. Okay, by almost 2 goals once again. Okay, 2.1 or 2 point something, and here there was a bit below, but here it's a bit above. So it's a small extra plus on that, right? But the goal performance is of course also positive. Plus 4.65 goals. We had too many. The thing is, we have a small indication only. We have a positive goal performance. So why should we do this? We have a price of 184 we get, and 175, 174 is what computer more or less agrees on what the true prices are. So we would have a very small margin here, and we have a positive performance. So we just remove that like any other such bet. Here we would have some fair reason to take it, but we also don't need to hustle it here, right? In Tokyo against Sagan Tosu, there it does look different. So why shouldn't we take the good ones? Would you agree that this is a better strategy? Those are the ones we can hardly argue. Now we get the Tokyo against Sagan, and here I don't understand. I mean, this may be a bad sign if I don't understand. But FC Tokyo against, let's look at these values, against Sagan Tosu. I mean, we talked about Sagan Tosu already, 2-6 goals. Of course, I mean, somehow you can say I admire market, why it's making such a line, or why it's still saying that they are a regular team, which I would also say. They should have had 8 to 9 goals and not 2 to 6, but it would still be enough for an under, or clearly enough. Here we did see a bit too many goals, 12-9, anyway it's 21. I expected it to be 18.69, these two figures. It should have been 18.24. It's not a big deal, but anyway, these figures would still be enough for an under, those 4 that are highlighted here, if they were the truth. So we simply, and if reality, I mean, here we got 8 plus 21, that's 29 and 14. That's barely above 2 goals per game that had been coming. And if we trust this, if we trusted it in Sendai against Yokohama, there were so many. So why would we maintain they're going to be less this time? But if there is a clear indication and those figures confirm that as well, so we got a very, very good under here. So Tokyo against Sagan is an under. I mean, if no one types it in, I'm going to do it. Because you have so much fun watching me. while I do so, while I type this, I'm gonna let you take part in that procedure. FC Tokyo against Sagan. I have to be careful with the names. Under. Oh no, Sagan Toast. You see that? No, it's once again taking the wrong. Tozu. Yes, I wanted it to be Togo. Tozu. 2.25 at. I did see a price of 2.05. And here we got clearly the 92 new 1.87. They simply agree. Gold performance is minus 6.51. Agreeing. And we could argue about the under in the Gamba Osaka. The one and only 2.5 in the league. Robbie Expert, poker. What is poker? Pok champ. The one and only 2.25 line? No, I got 2.25 in Shonan and in Oita. But anyway, if it's an under, it's an under. And but by the way, I mean, we could once again now, okay, talk about this Gamba Osaka against, but only if you can see what I'm doing. What sample can you get in a year over all leagues on average? What sample? I mean, sample is... I mean, we're just building up here. We are building. How many bets? Okay. Well, you're witnessing what we are doing. I mean, now we are actually a bit short of football being played right now, but we have the midweeks and so on. So maybe it's representative in the end. But if it's 200 bets we had, which is the case here, maybe I should give that here, show that here somewhere, but I usually go to the file often enough. But if we have 202 bets, or 219 actually, including the ones, and if we take down those from today, we have like four now or so, then it's 223 within a good month. Then you see that multiply this with 10, so we got 2,200 bets over the year. Maybe, but it could be 3,000. It depends on, well, you gotta, first of all, you gotta follow me, and you gotta, here, stay with me, and so on. So I'm gonna get on with it. But also I need some support in all kinds, in all areas, and especially if you would use the donate button somewhere with a PayPal. That is very helpful. You can believe me. When I first started here on Twitch, then I was starting to watch some streamers. And then I saw people always, well, they were grateful. They were saying thanks a lot for you, and that's always just $2 or things like that. And I think thanks a lot, and so on, because they just say, well, it helps. If it's just €2. The one that had been new, Ali for TV last week, he didn't come back because Brandbergen was lost, I think, but he instantly gave me €3, a little donate, and I think, thanks a lot for that. Sagan Toso, we had an under. Gamba Osaka, that was what I was trying to explain or talk about or think about. We got these values here, and we got Kawasaki, where we don't have to do that at all. But here we see we had too many goals. We had here as little extra that should have been of not even one goal. Here it's maybe it's a bit more than one goal, so maximum of 2 goals. So they would easily justify an under. Of course, the performance given in these values is clearly above. This is obvious. But we have some solid edge here, but that would be covered by these values, easily be covered. And we have a top game, so to say, 1 against 2. And here we could say, well, as they are top, they could be a bit more careful in their approach, in some sense. I mean, there's no one which, Gamba Osaka could say, if we beat them, we could go top, but they would rather choose a careful approach. That's what I would predict. So we could go for an under there. I would still leave it away. Price is a little bit different. That what you put on Tokyo under 2.0. We only get 2.0? Okay, sorry. Yeah, my fault. No, that was 2.05. Okay, we don't have to do that. But we got another very good one. So why should we worry about the worse ones? And the last one is, you can guess that maybe. Sapporo, because we always had an under on Vissel Kobe, right? And this is a bit like Sagan Tosu. No goals there, and actually it's deserved in some sense. They play careful kind of football. They are better than their results, okay, very good, but 15 goals or 16 goals, 14 scored, so they are an underside. I mean, they are obvious underside. And Sapporo, okay, that's just fine. Okay, maybe 1 goal somewhere, but that wouldn't do any harm to the under. I mean, this is very, very clear indication there. So I'm gonna type in this as a second one. Here we got 2.75. Here I got a price of goal performance is of course minus. It's happy with it. Okay, so those are the ones from Japan. In Oita against Kashima, we could barely think about an over, but forget it. I mean, just to have that mentioned once, maybe. Okay, HDF, bitte. What is HDF? I don't know any abbreviations. Because when you type here, there are many, many typing errors. And if there's an abbreviation, then I would simply say most likely it's going to be a typing error. So I don't want to get into HDF, no idea. It could be anything, right? Because no one is well. When I write those short messages here, whatever it is, I try to get every letter properly and any sign. How do you say that? What are they called? Question marks and whatever that is. I mean. But I know people don't care for that. I mean, look at this. Vote you put on. Price is little. I mean, mentioning soccer home. Price is a little bit different, but which is not a proper sentence. Is a little bit that vote you put. Yeah, who knows? And then abbreviation. Makes no sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? We got Jiangsu against Shandong. Would you wish to know about that? I wouldn't. But I can still show you here. And there is an indication on Shandong. Did we have that before? I mean, against Jiangsu, Dalian Pro. They were playing Jiangsu. And Jiangsu were no good, still won. Then we're not going to do that, right? We have an indication on that game. I don't even have those stats ready yet. I mean, after one match day, I could show you, but it doesn't help us. We should wait for 4 or 5 match days at least, so we can see something happening there. And so this is an indication on Shandong. I'm not even, well, why should we actually? And I think, no. But with Jiangsu, we were somewhat wrong, which I agreed on. I see here. Shandong. The new system even sees Shandong favorites, right? I think we did study the table. Jiangsu were a little bit better. I don't know. We should just forget it. And the other very clear indication, by the way, is this one on Qingdao. And I'm absolutely not certain about. I mean, Shi Yazhuang are new to the league, right? And Qingdao had been, are those the ones that are just luckily back in the league? And that we don't know which team they are, what squad they have. I mean, we just leave that. But if I mention it, first of all, and someone writes it down, Shandong and Qingdao, maybe we start to somehow get into this. Right? You start to, and for the goal lines, right? We have some huge difference between old and new, which is not what those figures would tell us. But if you look at the single ones, I don't know. It's just a bit curious. It may be because I took away the home advantage, and this messes it up a bit, right? Sometimes you have some huge differences, which in the end doesn't come. Here, for example, 2.57. Well, okay, here or there, it's some bigger differences. And I can't really explain those. And we should just wait and see things develop there in this league, right? We should do that. We should just, I entered it now. We have the teams, we have the league. I'm keeping track of the stats. I'm entering this. We can, after a couple of match days, maybe we can take a look, start taking a look at those tables, right? That seem to me most helpful, right? When we start to understand which side are playing well. I mean, you can take it from any league. You can also take it from the Swedish or any league. Here we have 12 match days played already. Why did I make it this big? But then we can somehow consider, first of all, we can think about the points they gain. I mean, we're not complaining about Norrköping. They have a bit too much, okay, but which is very regular for teams that are at the top. Actually, Malmö played a bit better, and Djurgården as well. We know those teams as well. We saw them in Europe and so on, and we know they won the title. We know a little bit about them, but still, if we had such a table in China after 10 match days, here we got 11, but it could be 6 already, then we start to understand those things. Also about the goals, right? Where I'm wrong or right and so on. Here we see, well, it looks pretty close wherever you look, right? If you see this had been expected, this is what they should have had. They scored too many, very obviously, but it happens, right? But I'm pretty close here. And if we have huge deviations there in China, then you would still say, well, obviously we don't know so well. But if you see they should be even about 16-16, they got 17-17 instead. Okay, it's everything fine, right? We are just happy. We get a table and we know where to look at to find our bets, right? Also here I was arguing about, right? Then we know about these things. But if we don't see those figures yet, we just shouldn't start. if we were from China or knew someone from there, maybe it would be different. But for now, actually, I'm quite happy with the way things went here. We found our couple of bets that we might recap here. I mean, here we had them written down, all of them, and also the new ones from today. Right? We saw those from yesterday. We had 7 in Sweden, 7 in Norway, and we had a total of 4 in Japan, which is once again, why is it making it smaller than the others? Consadole Sapporo. And here we're not taking any of them. And also Switzerland and all those leagues that are running out, we forget about them. And now, you know what I'm doing? Closing my book. That's it. Okay? I don't know how many hours did I announce here on my channel, but I don't have to do 2 hours, right? I think I wanted to make it 1 hour only. So thanks a lot for watching, and we meet again not tomorrow, right? We should meet on Saturday with a German stream. Okay? Okay, thank you, and I'm leaving. See you on Saturday, maybe, yeah, around lunchtime, maybe.